Hello, everybody. My name is Grace, and today we're going to go to a new book, Alien Collective 2, The Link. It's me. It's just chapter 2, not really a new book. Charlotte wasn't certain how long she had been in the room. It lacked any windows and had only two doors, which made it difficult to gauge the passage of time accurately. Some time ago, she found out that she could get out of bed and walk around when Archie wasn't there. Despite her best effort, though, she was unable to push the door that led outside. The other door led to a Spartan bathroom outfitted with a sink, toilet, and shower. She slept frequently, and when she woke, food would be waiting on a small shelf in a corner salad, fruits, and vegetables for every meal. Sometimes she woke to find herself restrained and unable to move, which meant Artie was present for one of their conversations. I remember everything now, Charlotte thought, focusing on Artie. It was the first time she had attempted to communicate through the collective link. She didn't know if she was doing it correctly. Her head still ached and her brain felt scrambled, but the pain had receded enough to think more clearly over the last few days. Do you know? Artie's voice appeared in her mind, sounding incredulous. Where were you? Charlotte asked, pacing around her room. Not far. Would you like to come out of your room and chat? Charlotte could not prevent her excitement from welling up the prospect of getting out of the room. Perhaps she could find a way to escape. Something that sounded like a chuckle echoed in her mind. When you exit your room, Artie said, head down the corridor to your right. You'll find me in the observation room at the end. The door, a nondescript white panel with rounded edges, suddenly slid open as she approached. She squinted as she was suddenly exposed to the intense sunlight that poured in from the wall of windows on the opposite side of the hallway. Beyond the windows, she could see rolling, grass-covered hills, sparsely frosted, and a small city rising up in the distance. It took her a moment to realize that she must be inside the same tower as the resistance had attacked. If only she could find a way to get back out, she could be able to make her way back into the compound in less than a day. In the empty hallway, she turned left, not right as Archie had instructed, and moved quickly towards the door at the end. As she approached, the large door slid open. But out of the corner of her eye, she glimpsed a flash of blue light shimmering across the opening. When she pressed her hand against it, she felt an all too familiar electric tingling feeling. It was as solid as steel. She wouldn't be escaping that way. She reversed direction. She made her way past her room again, continued down the hallway. After she passed several other small doors that remained firmly closed, Charlie wondered if the aliens had other abductees that subjected to these awful experiments, or whatever they were. At the end of the hall, she came upon another large door that quietly opened. She cautiously reached out to make sure she didn't run into another shield, but her hand met no resistance and walked through quietly. The windows continued past the doorway and around the room. To her left, she could see the same bucolic scent of hills and grass. Artie was standing with his back to her, still wearing the same red robes. The alien remained motionless when she entered, keeping his gaze focused on the bright white room beyond the windows. As Charlotte grew closer, she noticed tier after tier of small black pots filled with dark, healthy looking soil. Those at the bottom had diminutive green shoots sticking up. The plants grew larger in each higher row, What do you think of our little nursery? Archie asked. Charlotte didn't respond. This area used to be covered with green trees, like these. Well, not exactly like these. This species is indigenous to this part of the country, but we made a few modifications to increase the tree's growth rate and longevity while allowing them to take in more carbon dioxide and release more oxygen. Archie smiled proudly at Charlotte. I'm sure the next Arbor Day celebration will be a real blast, thanks to you, she said. For some reason, speaking out loud seems like a form of deficiency. With a grunt, Archie turned and walked to the right side of the room. Cheddar looked out at the rolling hills. But on this side, the grass ended abruptly at a line of burnt trees where the blue shield must have stood. The ground beyond it was scorched, with large craters surrounded by debris dotted the hillside. Nearly 15 humans perished the resistant attack on this facility, Archie said somberly. The casualties were much worse in some other places around the world. How many were resistant? Charlotte asked. What difference does it make? You are all humans, all members of the same species. The people working with you are collaborators, traitors to the human race. While it's uncomfortable that they died, sacrifices have to be made in ensure our freedoms. Yours, you recite your father's propaganda well, Charlotte, but I wonder if you truly believe it. Of course I do, she said without hesitation. Remember, I've seen what you have done. Thousands upon thousands of worlds destroyed in so many ways. It's terrible, and you're not going to do that to Earth. Adi flashed with his awkward smile. Search those experiences carefully, and you'll see the collective's involvement. The multitude of images destroyed civilizations again flashing through Charlotte's mind. Yet she somehow experienced them simultaneously. They were jumbled and overwhelming, which made it more difficult to focus. She tried and tried again. She tried again and again, but she couldn't point to any specific evidence indicating that the collective had actually caused any of the destruction while she was witnessing. That didn't improve anything. However, habitable planets are rare. But the universe is so massive, it contains unimaginable numbers of them. This galaxy alone is home to more than 100 billion planets similar to your own. But it's only now that your species is making contacts with beings from another world. Artie's voice echoed in her brain. Why do you think that is? Charlie found it a little difficult to speak, as her mind processed through the destruction of vast numbers of worlds. She managed too far. That's a good starting point. Reaching outer space requires a certain level of technology, and traveling between stars takes exceptionally advanced technology. Still, mathematically, mathematically, with nearly infinite worlds out there, logic would dictate that some of them would have contacted Earth by now. Yet the collective is the first to do so. Why? Charlotte shook her head and wiped her tears from her cheeks, still distraught from what she had just seen and felt. Archie gave her a disappointed look, as he had expected more from her. It's very simple. They destroy themselves. It turns out that it's much easier for a species to develop new technologies than it is for them to learn more use of those technologies safely and responsibility. Major scientific breakthroughs are extremely dangerous unless a species has already developed the maturity to use them wisely. You've seen countless examples of what happens when maturity and wisdom are lacking. Charlotte let go of her experiences, feeling the terrible destruction fade to the back of her mind. Next, you're going to tell me we're all one and we should hug at each other. Artie emitted a low growl that she realized was a laugh. That sounds rather sentimental, doesn't it? Really, the obvious species need to do is stop being so self-centered and think of something beyond yourselves. I've been abducted by intergalactic tree huggers, Charlie quipped. We're trying to assess your species as it transitions into advanced intergalactic civilization. It didn't really ask if we wanted to transition. It was inevitable. As you know, we've seen this happen multitude of times. And while each situation is somewhat unique, the end result is not. With your power sources, rampant consumption, overpopulation, and complete discard with the biome, you wouldn't have destroyed yourself in short order. We couldn't allow that. How do you know? Charlotte snapped. Maybe, maybe we could have transitioned on our own. Besides, we give you the right to get involved. We are free to destroy ourselves if we want. So that's the first part of the book, and I will see you next time. Bye.